Welcome to allis-chalmers coil replacement part 2. Hope you enjoy it. Okay, so we've got the ring off. Cleaned it up there a little bit. Our contacts is where it's going to make a better connection. And I have the bar slid into our new coil. And we're just going to set it on there. Alright, so let's go ahead and finish. We'll mount this back up with the clips. You can see the clips how we have a bigger end than the other. The big end we're going to put in there, and then it just snaps onto that part. Before we get too far, we need to put our retainer back in. So that's just going to sit on that. And go back in. Basically it's just keeping tension on it. So this on, clip that on. Do the same with the other side. On the bottom. Big part on the bottom. Flip that back. Okay. Now all we have left to do is ground this to the chassis. Okay, make sure that's good and tight. We're going to want to tuck this back just so our flywheel doesn't come around and bite into the wire. Okay, and we'll go and set this back on the motor. What I've done here, and mostly for just an air gap, when I slide this on here, I don't want this touching the metal. It has to be so far out. So all I did is just took like a piece of a magazine page and put it on here. And I don't know if you can see this. We've got some numbers right here. Yeah, what we're looking at, these numbers, or these marks, are how we're going to set it. Alright, so we'll slide this on. Okay, put these bolts in. And we're not going to tighten these just yet. I'm just going to leave these loose for the moment. Put our spark plug wire through. Okay, I've changed out this wire. We had the metal sheath wire there before, but when I tested it with the tester, I was getting continuity through the wire and the outside, so we need to have a isolated wire from here to the points, so it's not grounding out and pulling the motor down. Alright, we'll go ahead. Now this bolt here is isolated. Okay, so get that landed on there and tighten this up. Grab a 11/32 and tighten that up. Okay. So we've got everything tight here. We got this wire to the chassis. This wire coming out here, and that's going to send the spark back to our points. Now, in order to time this, I don't know if you can get in here, Ben, and see this arrow. That arrow has to correspond with what engine model this is. This was also put on the Model 23, the Model 9, Model 14, and then down here is where we're at, Model 23A and Model 19. So we're going to set the points so that they are just starting to open up. See right there. Okay. What we'll do is we'll do a continuity. Okay, just as it starts to open is where we want to be. Okay, now we'll come back and we need to line this with where we're at. Looks like we got to come around just a smidgen. Okay, let's check. Okay. Alright. Here we are, dead on. This arrow on the plate, and this one is lined up with the model. Now all we have to do is tighten these three bolts. This one, the bottom, and this one. Once I torque it down, I want to recheck and make sure. Okay, double check. Okay, just as those points start to open, we're dead on. Okay, that part's done. Now just to take this paper out, all you have to do is undo it and it'll peel right off. Okay. We got a good air gap, nothing's rubbing. We're good. Okay, so I've got my spark plug wire made up, coming off the coil. This wire is made, going to the points. Got our condenser on there. Now we're ready to start putting this all back together. Everything's tight. This flywheel doesn't have a key in it, so it doesn't matter which way it goes on. We can just slide it on. Okay. Tighten that down. We need a torque wrench to torque this nut according to Briggs & Stratton. Alright, so we've tightened this to 115 foot-pounds, so we're good to go there. All we have left is to place the trim. And put our blocks back in. Alright, so everything lines up. And we'll put the pulley on, and then we'll put it in the tractor and bolt it down and see what we got. Stay tuned for part 3. We'll put this motor in and get it started. See you then.